When there's,
We've been recording. Call the North Plains Planning Commission for December the 10th, 2025 order at 6 o'clock. Please rise and be pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And let's get the roll call.
thank you. Chair King,
Here.
Vice Chair Labonte. Here. Commissioner House,
Here.
Commissioner Canodell,
Here.
Commissioner Para,
Here.
Commissioner Nennekamp.
Here. Yeah, Commissioner Miller here.
And your ex officio this evening, Counselor Katie Redding. Here. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Item number 4 is public comments. It's not available for anyone in the audience or Zoom for public comment of planning commission business that are not on the agenda. Is there anyone on Zoom?
No one on Zoom.
Let the record show no one in the audience. Okay, item number 5 is the approval of the November 12th, 2025 minutes. Are any corrections, comments? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
I move to approve the November 12th regular meeting minutes as written.
I'll second. Okay, it's been moved by Commissioner Nunningham, seconded by Commissioner Parr for approval of the November 12 minutes as presented. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those
Aye.
opposed? Hearing none, minutes are approved. Okay, item number 6 is unfinished business. A is a vote on recommendation to city council for planning commission appointment term ending December 31, 2025.
We've got no other applicants for.
Okay. So, with this, we had already interviewed, the one applicant last month, just in case, and there's no other applicants. Is there any questions of the applicant that is present on Zoom? None, this will be a recommendation to the city council. So is there a motion for recommendation?
I move to recommend Kai Miller to the planning commission or to city council for the planning commission position.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved by Commissioner Levante, seconded by Commissioner Conadell for approval for recommendation of Kai Miller to the planning commission position to city council. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Okay, unanimous. That recommendation to the city council for us.
It will be on Monday's agenda.
Thank you very much.
Mhm.
Item number B is code update strategy discussion.
Yes, Chair. So, I did receive news from VLCD, yesterday that our application for technical assistance, we have not been selected for this round of funding. We will be considered, they'll keep the application on file for any subsequent rounds of funding or additional funding that they receive through the legislature in the next year. We do have our representative, Laura Kelly, she's our Region 1 rep. We have a strong working relationship with her, so we'll continue our relationship with DLCD to use any other funding sources available to us to the best of our ability. That said, we still do have different avenues to conduct code updates, as you guys have convened your subcommittee, and we can work with city council in the joint work session scheduled for Monday evening to discuss how they might realign the budget to better suit y'all's priorities and the city's priorities for addressing critical code updates. Not much more to share right off the bat from staff's perspective. I would be very interested in hearing how the subcommittee's progress has been going. I have some additional small code concerns that came up, namely the fact that upon review, multifamily design standards are currently applied only to conditional use permits. They're not applied broadly over the zoning districts. So that may be something you all consider. And something Mr. Reed has brought up was that currently our mixed use definition, as you know, is quite weak. And that it may be something for the planning commission to consider if they want to allow mixed use to include ground floor residential use, or if it might be prudent to exclude ground floor residential use in mixed use buildings and have that only be commercial or retail use on ground floors and residential use on the above floors. So that's 2 comments from staff on the code. But I would love to hear the commission's progress.
Just to confirm, you said there is a joint workshop meeting for the PC and the city council on the 15th.
Yes, joint work session on the 15th. We'll consider what you all have identified as critical code update areas and how the budget may be realigned to work with that. That'll be at 6 p.m.
Exciting.
No, I've heard of it. Okay. So, Commissioner Levante, do you have any update to share?
Well, first, before we started that, just a quick question on staff's comments regarding the multifamily. We do have it in our definitions for the multifamily that it's residential use only on the first, or excuse me, not to exceed 25% on the first floor.
So that is for the mixed use definition and only applying to the C1 community commercial zone for downtown. I believe.
Okay.
I may be incorrect in that.
So you're
It's definitely in
suggesting,
C1.
you're suggesting that there isn't any in the residential? Is that what I understand?
The suggestion was that, there were 2 comments. Multifamily design standards are currently regulated through conditional use criteria and not through the zoning
Oh,
districts
in the C1.
for multifamily housing. And then separately, mixed use development, the definition is weak and allows residential ground floor uses.
It actually
That's something
doesn't.
that's,
If in the permitted use, it said in NC, it says mixed use, including residential, commercial, and or institutional uses with no residential uses on the ground floor, street facing, building elevation.
yes, that's for the NC zone. That doesn't regulate other zones,
Oh,
such as the C1 zone or the C2 zone.
Right, so we did have.
That we have varying definitions based on the zone. It might be something that you all consider to unify.
We have, I mean, in the C1, there is, if you want to change it, then it's a conditional use. Right, okay.
okay.
We did have some discussion on that. About doing some changes to that,
Yeah, mixed use in general.
because that's part of the problem, what happened already in C zone, so.
Yes.
Anything that you want to share with staff?
Yeah, so we've actually only met once. We talked about several items, specifically topic items that we might want to see priority in budgeting. Not that this is the only list, because the list is actually quite large. But most of this has been mentioned before between staff and planning commission, but we have sign code, housing, and housing is really broad because it's the mixed use issues. No longer using NC in the future. So that, I mean, that's just got in, also in the housing, we also have the setbacks, I think that were gonna be addressed too. We have non-conforming use, off-street parking, which includes requiring of ADA for parks. let's see, increasing the park size for rooftop. Street development standards. Design review, and then parking in commercial and industrial. So those kind of are like our big ones that jumped out at us, but they're so broad, they cross over several items. Several sections, I should say. Anything else?
I think that is, seemed like a list pretty much, so. Right. Start opening.
Yeah, like I said, the list is quite large that I created of just minor tweaks. I mean, some of them are just so minor, you know, they could be easily bundled with something else, but yeah, it's just a matter of deciding what is our priority at the moment.
And I think one of the things we talked about before was kind of separating them into done right away, things that are more aspirational and then long range planning kind of thing. So if you could bring those into those, you know, the ABC kind of thing, then that way we can address the most important issues.
For this list,
Yeah. If you could do that, that would help staff, I believe.
Yes, very much so.
Thought we had one more meeting before we were having a joint meeting. So
So
we didn't know we were having a joint meeting, so.
well, I know that puts a little time constraint, but
Yeah.
I think if we at least get maybe a short version of some important things that we want to list.
I mean, I think mixed use has just got to be at the top. I mean, the one mixed use has no section of the code. And obviously now we're seeing mixed use needs design standards in the employment areas. So it seems like, you know, that obviously would be higher. And so many parking questions. I don't know if we want to try to lump them all together. And that would be a pretty easy.
Well, I remember you came up with something about when, what came from the meeting when we were talking about was if Dollar General came to town and was gonna do something, there was something about they couldn't do something because there wasn't, the parking wasn't.
Their parking requirement was too much for the size of building they wanted.
Right.
That property.
And I remember you saying we needed to look at some of that parking stuff, so. Or something at that time.
Because I don't know the code off the top of my head. Does the parking standard for commercial buildings, is that based on footprint of the building?
Square footage
Cause I mean,
and use.
it would almost be square footage of a certain type in the building, because I mean, you could have a store, but you could have 3/4 of it be your storage area in the back. That's not necessarily serving customers. So why would you need parking to comply for areas that's not really gonna have public in it?
You know, I have to comment on that because, you know, for the first 5 years, it might be one
That's
use.
true, change of use.
Yeah,
Change of use should cover that though, because they would have to then go through staff over the change of use.
Whether or not they could meet the criteria.
So it's like the big building out there. It came here, it was only gonna be 18% of employment. In that massive building. So when it changes use. Supposedly, because it doesn't have very much parking, it's supposed to go through. The city,
right,
right?
but have you ever fixed anything like that then?
Right, that's what I don't know, so that was my question when it came before. Planning commission at that time, right, so,
Right,
but. We need to have business here, but make it not so stringent that they can't come here, but. You know, but so we can have it, so they don't get away with everything, so. So I didn't know if that was, I remembered you saying that, so that's why the parking thing kind of came up a little bit too, so.
Jerry, if I might,
Go ahead, please.
Now it's working. The intent of the work, two comments about the work session. Number one, given the wide variety of activities that council's going to be taking on, including a lot of work on the urban renewal plan. Immediately in the new year and some other things. Council prioritized this particular topic to at least kick off ASAP. So we did, our apologies for this seeming like a sudden work session, but it was their intent to try to kick this process off ASAP so that it's working in the background as some of these other efforts are going on. And to that end, we aren't, from staff's perspective and then communicating this to the council, our intent certainly isn't to put pressure onto you to come up with a really good list of everything. It's more along the lines of identifying the big areas and discussing them on Monday in order for council to understand what the budgetary consideration might have to be now that we know and have confirmed that this round of technical grant assistance is not coming for this effort for the city. So we just want to have a conversation that informs what we do budget wise. And then we will discuss with you follow up with that conversation, more of a drill down in what your subcommittee has identified so that we can properly scope whatever outside assistance it is we need, and we can let city council know sooner rather than later what the specific budgetary implication is. But it's really meant to be a kickoff of addressing the cost of what really the undertaking might be. But no pressure to be comprehensive by Monday at all.
Okay.
If I may, Chair.
Sure.
I would also encourage you all to use this time to gather your thoughts on any topics that you would want to discuss with council. And come up with any of your questions or concerns for them as well that you may want to address. It's a two-way street during these work sessions, so.
Then on the flip side of that, is there anything specific that city council is looking for from us at this point?
Chair, I think the answer to that question is they're very ready to take a solid look at the big problem areas. And try as much as possible, at least, maybe not all of it from a budget perspective, but address a lot of the big things that have plagued some of the things that have come before you and what you've heard from property owners.
Right, thank you.
That's why we kind of did a little list to get rid of some of the smaller things that, like the solar panel thing that came up with the non-conforming quick thing, get it done, and that's not cost. Right. And then just saying, and then like the sign stuff. So we've worked on the sign stuff so many times.
Right.
But it's really about, I think Roll Tide basically is the one that I think kind of suffered the most about the sign code maybe down there. Needed a little bit of work, so tweaking on that. That's the reason it was kind of on the list to get rid of those simple ones, but the other ones are the big ones, I guess. So that's what kind of came on with stuff.
Yeah, just looking through our code, the parking requirements on commercial, it breaks it down as retail stores, service and repair shops. Retail stores that are handling bulky merchandise, which is automobiles and furniture, banks, professional offices, clinics, offices for doctors, eating and drinking establishments. So you might want to look at those and just come up with, some suggestions if we do need to work on those, because it's all based on square footage. By the looks of it. That is in section 155, 673 automotive parking requirements.
And I was just inquiring on a piece of property Grove today, and it sounds like the state of Oregon has implemented some new rules about parking. And so they're on a lot of properties, there is no. Off-street parking requirements now,
Oh,
yeah. And it's the second time I've read into that,
It's-
actually.
It's for over 10,000. It's based off, I believe it's, so I believe the requirement is rooted in CFAC, climate friendly and equitable communities, which exempts. A variety, mostly residential projects, but I believe some commercial or mixed use projects from any off-street parking requirements.
Makes
And that
use.
applies to cities over 10,000 in population. Not at this time, at least.
Well,
Make sure we work with something that's.
and the other thing, I guess, we need to consider, because in our C1 zone, we don't have a parking requirement either. And because I think basically most of those are grandfathered in, but if we do new development, we may want to reconsider the parking, any parking requirements for that type of thing, especially if it becomes mixed use.
Yeah, I will say in the downtown zone, the grandfathering is only for existing buildings, so if a new building was put up, they would be subject to
Okay.
parking requirements.
I know we went through, change of use doesn't.
But change of use doesn't.
Doesn't do that, but any new construction.
New construction.
Okay, good, alright. Anything else, Commissioner Labonte?
no, keep on working on it and see. And might be too quick of a turnaround for a meeting. Is it this Monday or Monday after?
This Monday,
This Monday.
No, it's actually next.
Well.
It's Monday.
Coming up Monday.
Yes,
5 days from now.
all right. That's fine, staff.
yeah, before we wrap the topic, if I may just summarize, as I'm going to be putting together some materials for Monday. It sounds like your highest priority are housing issues specifically related to mixed use. Parking standards and quick fixes to things like non-conforming uses and signs. And that will,
Yeah, the housing is not just limited to the mixed use, it's,
Yeah.
mixed use is a portion of it, but there's other lot standards.
off-street parking as well.
Well,
Is it possible that, yeah, Commissioner Labonte can send you a little more detailed?
Absolutely, I would welcome any more detail.
If you want to do that, Commissioner Labonte.
not having the NC zone anymore. And get rid of it, but not having it.
I would like to give
We,
it.
we, Yeah.
I thought we could get rid of it.
We rezone.
yes.
That might take a little more.
There's nothing in Oregon land use law that prohibits you from taking away zones, instituting new zones, changing how zones work.
We lost our 10.
That is all permitted activity. I would say that is bound by your imaginations and your the city's wallet. So
The neighborhood community zone was only supposed to be a holding zone like FD 10 for the county, but it got away from us. We didn't do it, get it done, so. Like to see that. Okay. If there's nothing on that, we'll move on to item 7, which is new business. We have the nominations for chair and vice chair for 2026, so I will put the nominations for the position of chair for 2026.
I nominate Stuart King.
A second.
Are there any other nominations? Hearing none. All those have been moved by, motion nominated, by, Commissioner Nunnenkamp and second by Commissioner Labonte for, Stuart King as the chair for 2026. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? All right, then we'll move on to the nomination for vice chair. Open the nominations for vice chair for 2026.
I nominate Heather Labonte.
Second. Okay, are there any other nominations? Hearing none. Nominate vice chair. Okay, so it was moved by Commissioner Duncan, seconded by Commissioner Conadell, Commissioner Howard, Commissioner Para.
I have Tara down, is that okay, or do you,
That's fine.
okay?
All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Thank you. Okay, item number 8, land use applications and city project monthly report. Any questions, comments? Go ahead.
The variance on 311th, what was that for?
That is a variance that has come in for, there was a older single-family home on the property that's since been demolished. They would like to develop the property with a duplex and they've, come in for a variance for their setbacks. To allow them to orient the duplex to 311. It's a shallow lot if you orient to 311, so they've applied for a variance on that setback.
And I'm assuming the variances stay within 10% of the
Yes,
requirement.
yep, it's minor variance.
Seconds. At first I thought it was the old house in the corner of Cottage in 311. That, the garage looks like it needs to be condemned.
The one with the really rundown garage lean-to in the back, that is the property.
Oh. They tore it, the house is still standing.
The house is still there. They do have a,
There's people living in it.
Yeah, there's people living in it.
Do they know that?
Got a bunch of dogs, apartments are all over the property.
Okay,
I do recall them coming, I did not personally handle the demolition application myself. And they may be delayed in when they're expecting to do work on the property.
So they'll remove the garage at that point.
Hmm?
They'll remove the garage then at that point for the.
Oh, yes. All structures will be needed to be removed from that property in order for it to redevelop.
okay, any other questions or comments on permits or the land use applications? Okay, we'll move on to item number 8 is the city project monthly update report, 3J's consultant. Any questions, comments on that? Okay, hearing none, planning commission comments. Item number 9. I know that, one of the things that was brought up by Commissioner Howe last time was the intersection at North and Main. Was there any follow-up on that, a requirement for signage, strike lines for crosswalks?
The issue has been raised to Public Works and they're working with our consultants at 3J who do the inspections to verify if that instruction was built to code and if there's any improvements that are needed. I don't have an update at this time.
Okay, if it's built to code but didn't require it, then is there a next step or is that,
That's something I will have to discuss with Dustin.
okay, so we figure it out first if it was done right, then determine what to do from there.
Absolutely, because if it was done wrong, we would like to
Make
have
sense.
them fix that on their dime.
Okay. Any commissioner comments? All right, hearing none, welcome Councilor Redding. Any comments from city council?
Councilor Redding, I'm looking forward to our work session next Monday. And it's already been stated a few times, but I'll encourage you to bring a list of prioritized code amendments you believe most critical. And when, if at all, a consultant might be retained, and that might mean more towards staff. That's part of, if at all, a consultant might be retained for some of this, and that's, I think, to go with our budgeting. Yeah. And then I was just gonna ask maybe to include a plan for public engagement.
Well, all amendment votes have to go through public engagement. It may be limited to public hearing, but that's a staff's call as to when if they want to do another procedure.
Thank you, Jerry. Let's let that be part of the conversation on Monday.
Okay.
Because to the extent we go beyond standard meeting procedures here, it's a budgetary consideration, so that should be part of the conversation for sure.
All right, anything else, Counselor Redding?
I was gonna ask if there were any data or trends in permits, are there notable applications that may raise policy issues? And there may not be, I'm just, if there has been.
You're asking about any applications that raise concerns with policy?
I think sort of along the lines of that solar panel,
Yes,
things like that, and anything.
we haven't had anything abnormal come by in the last couple months.
Okay, excellent, thank you, that's it.
All right, thank you. Anything from the planning commission for city council? Hearing none, thank you for attending. Move on then to item number 11, staff comments.
Thank you, Chair. So tomorrow evening at 6 p.m. we will have our final in the series of 4 neighborhood meetings. This one will be hosted at North Plains Senior Center downtown and will focus on the business community, defined by the Commercial Road, Glencoe, or Commercial Street, Glencoe Road, and Northwest West Union Road, commercial corridors. Of course, anyone is welcome to attend those meetings. It just means that we'll have a little bit more focused information on how the city's current situation and potential future would impact those areas. So we encourage you and anyone you know who might be impacted by that to show up and hear what staff has prepared and hear what the opportunities for future public engagement are. We've had really good turnout for our last 3 meetings, and we're hoping to continue that with this one, strong finish. We will have the Public Advisory Committee for our concept planning project starting in January. So be on the lookout for an email from me that will just go over some of the details for the PAC and the date of that meeting that will be coming out in the next couple of weeks. We are also considering some general city code outside of zoning and development for some updates, and it's been expressed to me by our police chief Nick Jones that he would appreciate some advisory comments from this board. So look forward in the next couple of months to maybe being invited to provide some comment on those updates. I know that Chief Jones is currently especially concerned with some of the traffic code to do with parking in the city. There's been a number of concerns over that in the past months. So that will be something that will likely be coming to you in an advisory capacity soon. We don't have any land use applications in the coming months as of right now. I did have a pre-application with a resident who is interested in the possibility of partitioning her property. We will see if that evolves into an application or not. Right now, it seems to be in the early stages of planning. And then I will say, as Bill mentioned, we're going to be doing a lot of work with urban renewal over the next couple of months to a year. And that will hopefully unlock some planning activity for you all, as we see progress be made with the Glencoe Opportunity Area and some potential for more funding in downtown and along Glencoe Road. The hope is to spur some more redevelopment and get some applications in front of you all with that. So look forward over the next year for that to be on your plate as well. I think that is my comments for tonight. Welcome for any questions.
Are there any questions for staff?
I have a question on the,
Commissioner Lamont?
on the urban renewal, how long is this current urban renewal go through? Are we, what kind of, is it next year?
That is such a timely question. Commissioner Lovato. There is a condition in the plan, the current urban renewal plan that, early July, I believe it's July 14th. Is the end of the 20-year period for this urban renewal plan to be active. We have a consultant that will help us in January over the course of about a month to remove and or change, extend, whatever council as the board wants to do. But it's a process that takes about a month, and that'll be taken up in January.
Any other questions? Go ahead, please.
You all, I forgot to write it down. Sorry, it just slipped my head. Never mind. Go ahead.
Better hurry then. Okay, if there's no other questions for staff.
Did you have a question, Counselor?
I'm just confirming tomorrow night's business UGB concept planning meeting is at the senior center
Yes,
and it starts at 6.
yes.
Perfect.
Any other questions to staff?
Emails will come forth.
You know where to find us.
Yeah. Okay, if there's no other planning commission business, our next regularly scheduled meeting will be January the 14th here at 6 o'clock unless otherwise. With that, Merry Christmas and happy holidays to everyone. And we are 6:36.